Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it all on the field. Sports, when you like your team's chances. Sports, to survive and advance in sports. For the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8. Yeah. Sports Channel 8. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Sports Channel 8 the stream coming at you on a Masters Friday.
Let's go. Sung J M already bogeyed this morning. Let's go. Get the hell out of here, Sung J.
College basketball rivalries are put to bed. Everyone's playing with house money now. We move on to things like Canes playoffs and Hornets play in Masters. I feel like golf doesn't even start to the Masters anymore. Sorry, Players Championship. And, of course, minor league baseball. We are the biggest state for minor league baseball. We don't want a major league team here. We want minor league teams. We'll discuss the biggest rivalry in all of sports. But let's start with Thursday and Friday at the Masters. Brian Geisinger, Ben Swain, Josh Goodson's here. If you see Josh Goodson not looking at the camera, you can bet he is watching Masters, giving us a play-by-play. What are you cheering for today?
Tiger. So hierarchy, Tiger.
Okay.
And then like more Tiger. And then anybody ahead of Tiger to bogey every hole.
Okay.
We're already getting there. Sung J M started yesterday 5 under. He bogeyed number 1. You cannot ask for a much better start than that unless he like double bogeyed it.
Who's my dude deep in the woods right now? I just
and we're watching the
can't even get a camera shot of him. He's so deep in the woods.
Yeah, it's great. But Tiger.
One thing we were just was yesterday satisfying Tiger was, or were you left wanting more?
From a fan,
right?
It was incredible. Like watching him play golf is still like incredible. Could he have probably shot better? Yeah, he probably. I mean, he had the bad lip out. I think on 5 or 6, one of those bad lip out on the 4 birdie, and he shouldn't have bogeyed the par 5 8.
Good Lord.
And his other bogey, he was probably avoidable as well, and he didn't do much on the other par 5. So, I mean, he probably should have been about 13 under, if we're being completely honest.
The hole 8 was the one where I watched it and was like, "This is awesome." And
it's like, yo, you're about to birdie this hole. You're about to be 2 or 3.
No. But hold on, I'm saying, like, in general, I'm like, this is awesome that Tiger's playing. It's awesome that he's playing well. When you saw number 8, and this is where he was like in position where he could have had a birdie, was near the green in 2, and ended up flubbing short of the green, and then flubbing short, and then missing, and ended up bogeying where he should have had a birdie. It was like, he's not going to win. Now, he might shock me, but when I watched that one, I was like, he's not going to win just because I think there's just going to be 1 or 2 too many mistakes to make up. If he made mistake-free and then stole his birdies here and there and finished like 9 under, but I can't see him. We'll see today. The cool thing is when he was crushing everyone, he would shoot like 73s on Thursday.
Yeah, he
never went low on Thursday. So the fact that he's 1 under is like kind of a good thing. I think
he's gonna get like. To your point, if this was like a Masters where the winning score was like 15 or 18 under, and you had to go make a bunch of birdies, I don't think he would do that. He's not hitting it far off the tee. He's not basically allowing himself to get home and try to make eagles on every par 5. But I think because it is playing so hard and it's supposed to get more difficult today and tomorrow, that's true. It actually probably makes it more. Again, I can joke about saying he's going to win. Like, yeah, I want him to win, but I think he can be way more in contention and have a chance if it's hard.
And everyone's making mistakes, and then his aren't as
well. He knows how to get around that place, and like just when you watch him play, I think what was incredible was every hole there. You never want to putt from above the hole.
Sure.
And I think the stat was he literally had 17 putts yesterday under the hole.
Yeah.
Like he just knows, like, I'd rather be 45 feet under the hole in 2 putt than be 12 feet above the hole and potentially
right.
3
Or
putts.
like miss the green, but coming at the green on my third shot to set me up for a good putt as opposed to being on the green but in a terrible spot, putting, rolling out. So,
but it was cool. I'm glad he played well. Like, it was fun watching him. Like, and I'm excited for this afternoon.
I think the one thing for me was he spent the entire round just trying to like not test himself, right? Like Goodson said, just be smart, keep it below the hole. And then there was that one hole where he had the bad drive and ended up in the pine straw.
11
had to hit the old school Tiger shot.
Yeah.
It didn't translate yesterday. I mean, even though he's still 1 under, he's still very much contention. But I think that shot told him, hold on, wait a minute, maybe I can still do this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I thought that one shot was huge yesterday. And
you're right. That shot was the antithesis of the number 8, where it was like, he can't do it. He's making these mistakes. 11 was like, he might be able to do this if he could do that, like correct his drive mistakes. It was I thought he was going to snap the iron over his back. He came through so hard on the follow through.
It's still for me insane that, like, now it was one round of golf. He could very well go shoot 76 today, and what I'm about to say may be irrelevant, but the fact he can not play for 500 days, be 46 years old, and literally beat 75 golfers yesterday, some of which are like the best golfers in the world. John Rahm, Justin Thomas, like Colin Morikawa, like guys that are Jordan Spieth. Yep. Like if you watch golf, and you don't even have to watch golf, you know those names. They are the best golfers in the world who are playing every week, who are still young, who can hit it further, all those things. And the fact that he can just show up and like still just play well is insane to even think about.
All right, I'm going to give you 4 Masters highlights from yesterday. You guys tell me what your favorite is. All right, here we go. Number 1, let's start with Tiger himself, showing he is. All of these are kind of like this. Actually, all of these are Tiger showing he is one of us. Here we go.
This one's going to catch that sloping feet off the green.
Fuck off.
Don't know if you heard it in there, but Tiger with the F off just hit it.
This one's going to catch that sloping feet off the green.
Fuck off.
I would do the same thing. Like hitting. It's almost like hitting it on a fairway and hitting it into a divot, and you have to hit out of it. It's like, if I hit the green, I should be rewarded for hitting the green.
Yeah,
I should be able to go put my ball back to where the ball hit and be on the green. Like,
we've talked about this before.
Man, I'd like to say the same thing, but I'd be like, I'm still putting.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, when you hit a good shot, the ball does everything you want, but instead of skipping on the green, it like rolls off the back for the possible shot.
Plus, like us, we're excited that we got that much spin on the ball. Right? Did you see that? Did you see that ball come back?
Yes. All right. Here's number 2. Let's go with what we like to call the weather moose. Here's Joaquin Niemann with a terrible drive on number 13. He doesn't like it from the beginning. Here's what it looks like.
Staying very aggressive. Oh, it's fine.
He called it twice. Now, first, when I first watched this, it was a classic moose. Like, he thought it was bad, but he didn't realize that he's shaping his shot and it's actually going to be mid-fairway. Was this actually he thought he hit it a lot longer than he did? Like, it was a little bit of I thought I crushed it into those trees, but actually I didn't hit it 300. I hit it only like 270, so it came up short. I don't know. Let's see it one more time. Here's Joaquin Niemann calling 4 on the shot.
Staying very aggressive. Oh, it's fine.
I think he was trying maybe to hit a draw, and it didn't draw, and he just assumed it was gonna. But then it was also like, Bud, you didn't hit it 370 in the air. Like,
I like the double for 4. Then he dropped a small F on F, and then at the very end is it's like that might be the new Alonzo Mourning gif.
I do know from that on that whole from experience playing Tiger Woods on EA Sports for PlayStation. There is a severe slope on that fairway, right?
Yeah.
So like it if it goes 6 yards further, it's probably bouncing forward and going into the gallery. So I'll give him that. But yeah, Moose is the classic. As soon as the ball leaves the driver's face, he's like, "Oh man!" He'll throw his club, and it's like 300 yards middle of the fairway.
I don't even think it's reserved to driver. I've seen that with irons before. Yeah. Crap! Fly the green and just like on the flag. So yes, that was a good one. The 4 call. I think 13 might actually be my favorite viewing hole in all of the Masters because there's so many great shots made there and so many like almost good shots that end up in the creek. Guys wrestling with whether or not to go with it. One of my favorite ones. All right, let's go with Mackenzie Hughes here, looking very Sports Channel 8 golf-esque with this swing, I guess we call it. Not a lot of commentary on that one. But we talked about this yesterday in the Slack thread. Okay, he is trying to chip over water on the green. I don't think he has water behind the green, but he's not trying to go too far, right? Now, absolutely, he misplayed it, right? He kind of sculled it off to the right. But if I'm playing that shot, I'm thinking, don't let me be in the water. Don't let me be 2 miles past the green. And instead, he's sitting there like 10 yards off, didn't lose any strokes to water. I don't think that's the worst shot in the world, but it did look funny at the Masters. And then the final highlight yesterday.
Well, it highlights why we need grandstands wherever we play.
Yes.
That's true. Yes. Golfers basically play like it. It's like playing
bumper bolt, like bowling.
It's like bowling with guardrails. Like the grandstands, you can just aim for those things.
If they had to play in the conditions that we did, they wouldn't shoot what they shoot.
No, they wouldn't. That's the only thing holding us back from shooting.
Other times when the ball gets air and it's landing on like trample, they never have to do deep rough. It's like where people have been walking. Everything's fine. They'll move things for you. It's ridiculous.
And they was it 18 where Tiger hit his tee shot and you thought it was bad, and it was like it was, but for some reason he got a drop because it was like wet. Wet in the. I'm like, all right. I was happy because it was Tiger. I was like, yeah, he should get whatever he wants. But then also I'm like, wait, when did he just get a drop? Like he then had a wide open like shot from there.
From number 10. Love it. All right, here's final. One more Tiger acknowledging the crowd.
The last 16 winners of the Masters shot under par.
All right, just be clear. Watch one more time. He is not acknowledging the dude that says, go Tiger. He's already looking over there. Let's see one more time.
The last 16 winners of the Masters shot under.
I mean, I saw that as he's got to look. He hears the I love you, Tiger. Can't tell exactly what this person's age may be or, attractiveness, but he's got to look. He's like, I love you, Tiger.
Or that voice sounds familiar. That's the other one. That voice sounds vaguely familiar. Like, hold up, wait.
I know. I've been to it. Like, let's see. Who do I know in Augusta from back in the day? All right, we'll hit on some other Masters stuff if you guys want to, but let's keep it going.
Webb is birdied number 2. He's now T7. Webb has like been in the wilderness for the last like 2 years, like doing nothing.
Yeah, basically he's on the he's got the Phillip Rivers plan now, where he's got to weigh his professional life that pays him millions versus like, I've got 15 people living in my house that are all like my children, and it really does take a lot. Now, I think Webb's got 5. The last time we had him on Sports Channel 8, I was like, and father of 4, unless he's had one recently. And he goes, Hayes, I have had one recently. It's up to 5 now. But yes, Webb's made the choice of like, I'm not competing to be the number 1 golfer in the world anymore, right? I make $50 million golfing, and I can make another $2 to $10 million every year, pick my events, maybe try and play the Ryder Cup at some majors, but like life's good and I'm not trying to be number 1.
I think this is what happens too when you win like a major early, and you're like, all right, well, at least I did that once or whatever. Just getting the leaderboard. I don't see his name anywhere. How'd Phil Mickelson do yesterday? I assume he played pretty well, right? Did he have a good first round, Goodson?
I do like. I like that even Augusta was like, "Yo, we didn't kick Phil out. That was his own choice. Like, we didn't. We're cool. We're cool with Saudi money, dude."
Yeah. Gary Player was literally there. Gary Player was there wearing like a
golf. He had Golf Saudi on his neck.
Oh my God.
Webb, you forgot with Webb. He still has the Wyndham every year that he can show up to and finish top 10 and make like 200 grand. He's like, I'm going to show up there and I'm going to be top 10 because I've won that tournament a million times, and that's
Is it one of his kids named Wyndham?
Yes.
I
think it's the first one. I'll say this because I'm a huge Webb stan and irrational, but I'll always say the 2020 unplayed. They played it in the fall, but the 2020 Spring Masters, going into it, he had crushed the field in the players, finished tied first in 2019, was putting ball strong. I mean, the dude was he switched putters and became a better putter, and he was one of the best putters on tour. And I'm telling you, he was going to tear up Augusta, and then it all fell apart because of the pandemic.
We also need to mention Will Zalatoris is 1 under. Has the caddy of the year on his bag. So if he doesn't make the cut, it would just be absolutely ridiculous. Like that, we need to look at the cut line if he does not make the cut. We need to look at that entire process.
I was even out there making Austin Griezer of UNC jokes yesterday. Do we want to bag on them as well? He was leading the field through 9. He was tied at 1 under.
Did he have a 15-shot lead?
At the halfway point. Did not have a 15-shot lead, but he was leading halfway through. But he was like, I'm going to finish better than Tiger, so that's all I care about. That's all that matters.
But he beat Kevin Streelman. So
I was looking. Kevin Streelman was not in the field. I looked. No Joe Ogilvy either. Jeff Ogilvy, whichever one went to Duke. I was looking for a Duke player to make that joke. I just went with Tiger, who is obviously the Duke of golf, right? All right, we're gonna check. Let's talk Canes and Hornets because now we turn our sights to those. Let's start with Swain. We're coming. You're out. You're out. PG's over. You're suffering through our golf takes, and
not at all. Not at all. I enjoy it.
We're gonna come back to the Mud Cats and the Wood Ducks, so don't go anywhere.
In spring football, I got some Devin Leary just goodness I need to talk.
Get through somebody else's takes for a second. Just go mute yourself and watch golf, and we'll come back to you. Swain, Canes are in the playoffs. First of all, no one should take for granted how cool it is to be there 4 years in a row.
Right.
Crazy that Rod Brindamore is undefeated as far as going to the playoffs. But recently the Canes have not felt as dominant as they felt at times. Are you worried at all? And in the spirit of Paolo Banchero, is there anybody you want to see in the first round?
Not going to get me this time. No, I'm not sure the Canes are struggling. Like the way the playoffs work right now is whoever wins the Metro Division is going to get Tampa in the first round, right? And so there's been a lot of talk about like that. Like so right now the season ended today. Canes and Tampa would play in the first round. Rangers would be in second place, and they would play Pittsburgh, right? So like there's a pretty significant drop off between first and second place in terms of who's benefiting that. There's been a lot of talk about like, would the Canes rather not, win the division? Would they rather blow the lead that they had over the Rangers? And they even brought in Brady Manick last night to do the siren because he is a master at blowing leads. No, it's important to be playing well going into the playoffs for one thing. Like I think momentum and form is important in hockey. And then two, like you got to play them sometime, right? Like they're in where the Canes are right now, and you mentioned it. Rob Brindamore is in his 4th year making the playoffs out of 4. We're past the. It'd be great if the Canes could get to the second round. It'd be great if they got to the conference finals. This is a team that is built and wants to win the Stanley Cup, and so you got to go through those good teams at some point anyway. You might as well do it in the first round. And I think it's important to go for it and try to win the division. It would be 2 division titles in 2 different divisions in back-to-back years, which would be kind of wild because the Canes were in the Central last year. But
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you play like St. Peter's to get to the Final Four, because if you had to beat Baylor in the second round, doesn't matter what order you play them in, right?
In professional sports, yes, that matters. In professional, no, in a 7-game series, anybody you play is going to be tough. You're going to have to go through Tampa or Florida or somebody like that, and I think it's pretty obvious as well. Whoever comes out of the East is going to be a strong favorite to win. Although a couple of West teams have made some good additions at the deadline, but it's fun being back in the playoffs. Canes fans are just different in the playoffs, and it's fun. It's just a fun atmosphere, and I'm ready to get out there in the parking lot and start tailgating for some playoff games.
Do we joke about it on here, but do you think there's anything? And we've talked about how Roy Cooper has played it like 100% political. Like, he even put out that announcement when Duke and UNC were playing and NC State. It was like pretending like he was all for everybody. So great, Duke and UNC the finals. But like, we know he was down there pulling for UNC, right? But like, we talked about politically, he's wisely latched on to the Canes being his forward-facing, his number one team, right? Am I just wanting this to be too much? Is it partly coming off the divisiveness that it's college basketball season? We're all like, all right, now let's put that behind us and I'll pull for the Canes. Is that?
Well, I think there are no more rivalries in our area in college basketball, right? I was told that it's over. I think so. Yeah, so that I don't think that matters at all. I think the important thing is the Canes fans need to pace themselves, as we have learned firsthand. First of all, we've got a division like stretch run, right? Like, we got to care about the last 11 games that we play on our schedule. Again, we got the Islanders tonight.
11 games left on the schedule?
Yes.
What?
Let me just put this out there. If the Canes make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, and I'll even say when they make it, they will be playing hockey in the month of June.
August.
So,
dude, oh my God.
Should I give up SportsCenter Late the playoff tickets for the first round? I can't handle, like, when we did it in, was it 19? Was that
2019?
Like, I was toast after the first round.
I mean, in the first round, we were starting fights in the fans, tailgating hard, pre-gaming, post-gaming, in-gaming.
And they play too often. They're like every other night. So
yeah.
And then like game 3 of the Islanders series, we're kind of like just completely dead.
Dude, by the Boston series,
we were like, yo, a sweep. We're like, a sweep is okay then. Like, we're good.
I stopped going to get like intermission beers and was going for coffee. I found a coffee stand at the concourse at PNC. It was like, I just need.
Do you guys have Pedialyte? Can I get? I think game one of the first, and especially if it's Tampa, you've got to go hard for the Tampa series, right?
Sure.
I think we just need to be prepared for a long run of series like that, because we could see Boston in round 2. We could see there are all kinds of scenarios that just the Canes go through a complete gauntlet to get to the finals. But yeah, we've got a lot of hockey ahead of us. It's the end of the year, but like I said, there's another like 2.5 months.
Just So the note to Canes fans: don't blow it all out. We clinched early, right? So we got 11 games. BG's reaction was great. We got 11 home games.
There's 2 games left in the NBA regular season. Now they've got a play-in tournament now.
Sure. We're back to discuss that. But yes, that 2019 season, it was like 3 nights a week, going from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. hard. And it's like, I can't do this, Canes. All right, so that's where we are with the Canes. Let's talk about the Hornets.
Did the Winter Olympics, did they pause for the Winter Olympics, the NHL?
No.
They didn't? Damn. All right.
They use that to catch up on games because of all the stuff going on in Canada.
That's right.
Back in the fall and such.
Right.
Yeah. Canada was late to understand that COVID wasn't real, and so they had to catch up on a lot.
But you laugh, but like the vaccine policies in Canada are gonna like swing a first round NBA playoff series when like start like shooting guard X from Team Y can't play games in Canada. It's incredible.
All right, where are we specifically with the Hornets right now, BG? I believe they have clinched the play-in tournament, correct?
They clinched the play-in slot sometime last week. So they're 41-39, pretty good. They won last night against a team in Orlando that is trying to make sure that Paolo Banchero plays basketball for them next season, aka not trying very hard to win games. But yeah, so Charlotte's in 10th place in the East. They're a game back of Atlanta, who's in 9th, and they're also a game back of Brooklyn, who is in 8th. They have the tiebreaker, I know, over Brooklyn. Just looking ahead, if Charlotte were to somehow jump up to the 8th spot, because there's a huge difference in the play-in between being 8 or 9, or certainly 8 and 10. Just like you have to win less to get in, and you can also, if you have to, you may even get a game for the play-in at home. So it's a big deal if you can get up to 8 as opposed to being on the 9-10 side of the play-in. But for that to happen, Charlotte, they play the Bulls tonight. They would really need to win that game, have the Hawks lose to Miami, and have Cleveland, who's also kind of in this morass, lose to Brooklyn. So, yeah, Charlotte could beat Chicago, Hawks lose to Miami, and then the Cavs beat the Nets. And also just kind of, again, all this stuff is so jumbled up, but Charlotte can get to 9th if they beat Chicago tonight and the Nets also lose to Cleveland. So just wiping away that Atlanta-Miami result. If Charlotte, Atlanta, and Cleveland tie at 43-39, so Charlotte would have to win its next 2 games, which would be against Chicago tonight and Washington on Sunday. They would finish 9th, Atlanta 8th, Charlotte 9, Cleveland 10. And yeah, it's unfortunate. Cleveland actually had a really nice season, but they've just been crushed by injuries the last few weeks. And so they have gone from a team that was maybe going to battle for 4th or 5th in the Eastern Conference to, maybe falling like to the wrong side of the play-in tournament. It's that bunched up, and it's been that competitive. And say what you will about the play-in tournament, but it has definitely it has created in only year 2. So just a sample size of 2, it has created, for the second straight year, it's created more intrigue in late season NBA games than we've seen in years past. It's like it has served that purpose, you know.
And what
is it a 3-game series?
No. It's 7 and 8 play one another. So the 7th place team, the 8th place team, they play one another. Winner of that is in. They get the 7th spot. The 9th and the 10th place teams, they play too, right? Loser of 9-10 is done. Season is over with. The winner of that plays the loser of 7 and 8, and the winner of that game gets the final playoff spot as the 8th seed. And then that team that loses that. So if you're 7 or 8, you have 2 chances to win 1, basically.
It's like youth sports. You can go 1-1 and still advance.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the West Coast Conference.
Right.
BG, give me a quick.
I did want to correct one quick thing that BG did say is Banchero will not be in the NBA next year. He's
coming back for Duke redemption.
I saw on HBO that you shouldn't draft him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It made me sad to see one of my favorite people in sports media.
We could talk about Bomani. We could say Bomani's name.
Okay. Then Bomani said a very, very dumb, bad thing, and it makes me question if he knows anything about basketball.
Nah, that's just a classic parachute in. You know, he hadn't been watching college basketball. That's a parachute in.
But he did preface it by saying, "I'm not a draft expert," which was right. I want you to kind of take me seriously, but also if he turns out to be an all-star, then you can't roast me because I prefaced it by it was like if you want to shit talk, you should just do it.
I think we are live, and I want Permar to ask a follow-up question, but we need to ask Goodson real quick. How did M get back to 5 under?
He's putting his ass off right now. It's not sustainable. Get this guy out of here. He made a 25-footer on 3.
Josh Goodson sounds like a commissioner of the LPGA in the aughts, complaining about only a certain type of player in the leader. We can't market these guys. No, I feel you. We want a name brand dude. At one point, the leaderboard was like real whack. I mean, even I know Scotty Scheffler's like number 1 in the world, but like he ain't moving the needle for me yet. As far as like, whoa, I got to get to my TV because Scheffler's in the top 5, right? Like he didn't have that appeal. And at one point, it was like 5 dudes, and it was like, I'm not watching a lot on Sunday if it's these dudes battling it out.
Harold Varner, to 2 under now. So
there we go. Him I will watch. BG, as we were talking about with the Canes, they are no longer in make the playoffs or win one series and be happy territory. I assume obviously you don't want to. There's a whole regular season, but the stakes are higher in the playoffs. Tell me if I'm wrong here. If the Hornets advanced out of the play-in tournament and won a series, because then obviously that means they've knocked off a 1 or a 2 seed. Yeah. That would be a pretty good as far as like status report for the growth of young players, right?
That would be a massive success. Yeah.
Let's assume more realistically they lose in the play-in tournament or they get out and they lose the first round. Has this been a successful season with that?
I think if they make the playoffs, you can consider it successful. Like I kind of thought they were, like for a chunk of the season, they were, hanging around 6th or 7th in the East. When they were playing like that, they were above where I thought they would end up. This is kind of around where it was, which I thought they would be very good on offense, very bad on defense, and 9 or 10 in the Eastern Conference. But part of it is just like the undeniable gravitational pull of like the number 11 pick in the draft to Charlotte. Just like no matter what Charlotte is trying to do, like they're like all roads lead to them drafting late in the lottery, So no, I think if they make the playoffs and get like in a frisky first round series, like don't get swept, then you can consider them having exceeded at least my own expectations. I'm not sure what they were. Sure. They were looking like inside the facility at times this season, but yeah, and especially if you can factor in like where they were a month ago, like or 6 weeks ago, they had a horrible February. Like it seemed like the wheels were falling off. And they're doing a lot of this without Gordon Hayward. Like he basically missed 2 months. He came back and played 1 game and since then has missed the next 2 games. So they're doing all of this without, their most expensive player, so that's been something they've missed quite a bit this season. The other team we want to watch though is the number 9 seed in the Western Conference, which would be our New Orleans Pelicans, led by Kinston's own Brandon Ingram, accompanied by Raleigh's Devontae Graham, and perhaps with a wild Zion Williamson considering joining the mix here. But if the Pelicans, who are in the play-in, if they were to get into the playoffs, the sign-in trade that the Hornets did with Devontae Graham to New Orleans this summer, again, the draft pick the Pelicans sent to Charlotte is a first-round protected. It's like a lottery-protected pick for the first round this year. So if the Pelicans get into the playoffs, the Hornets would get that like middle of the first round draft pick. If it doesn't convert this year, then it becomes, I think, 2 second-round picks. So significantly more valuable. So we're going to pull for the Pelicans because of Zion, because of Devontae, because of our man Jose Alvarado, who all of a sudden has been a revelation in the NBA, the former ACC Defensive Player of the Year, who I think we used to joke on this show about all the ways that like play-by-play broadcasts like characterize him and describe him.
Fiery,
scrappy, fiery,
spicy. Scrappy is more of like a white guy. Fiery or spicy is how we describe Hispanic players, right? So it's always the high-spirited Jose Alvarado. Always. Yeah. Davis Vasquez used to get those too. So good.
By the way, Swain, I will say this. I saw a photo of Gravis Vasquez the other like a real modern day shot of him now. He's looking like a lot like Mac from Always Sunny is what my thoughts were. That he looks like Rob McElhaney.
Today? All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was all. I think Jeff Goodman tweeted.
Goodman tweeted it out. Check his Twitter feed. You'll see what it looks like.
I saw it earlier. It was like,
I will say, I know BG has seen this.
It's amazing.
I know BG has seen this. Swain and Goodson. I don't know if y'all have seen this. Alvarado does this. I don't know if it's once a game, but it's more like once a week.
Yeah.
We're like, it's not just, sometimes players will do this, especially if they pick up on your style of inbound. Sometimes people do this to UNC where the point guard likes to get running and be basically running away from the inbounder after a made basket. So he's got a running start. And if somebody's smart, it's like, well, just step on the ball a little bit and you can sometimes either get a turnover or at least keep it from running up the court. Alvarado does it different. Like if he's following his man and he happens to be at or near the baseline or especially towards the corner, when everybody starts running back and they're just inbounding the ball lazily, he lets him inbounds, but he just stays there almost like he's a guy on the bench. And then when they're like 2 seconds, 2 dribbles in, he comes running behind up half court. The guys are even like yelling, but they're like, what do you mean? Just bring the ball. Oh, no, he stole it. It's like kind of super annoying, but like it's the classic, like if that happens in pickup, you're like super annoyed that somebody did to you, but ultimately like it's a very heady play, right?
So he learned that last year at Georgia Tech when he actually graduated 2 years ago, but snuck into college basketball games and still was playing.
They're like, they can't stop me now. I'm there. So he is a fun
it's cool. He really has turned into like a rotation piece in the NBA, but it is it was funny because when he was first like cracking into the lineup for New Orleans this year, they were playing Minnesota in one game, and one of I think D'Angelo Russell for the Minnesota was mic'd up during this game, and like Jose Alvarado's like pushing the ball up in transition. D'Angelo Russell's like trying to like match up with him, and you can hear the microphone pick up D'Angelo Russell trying to ask his teammates like, "Yo, can this guy shoot?" He's like, "Yo, can he shoot? Can he shoot?" And Alvarado hears him saying this and goes, "Yeah, I can shoot," and then just like shoots a pull-up three and drains it. And it was really funny. I mean, like that exchange itself is hilarious. But then on Twitter that night, D'Angelo Russell like saw the video, was like, "Yo, meant no shade," just like literally had not seen this guy play basketball before.
Did not know who this guy was. That's another pickup too, where you get the quick scouting report. Like, yeah, what's this guy do? Like, all right, don't worry about it. But he will like put his butt on you and get in the post. All right, good enough.
That's the thing though, man. Like if Alex Caruso did that, it would be like just the smartest thing ever. But man, when Alvarado does it, it's just spicy. It's like
spicy, fire, crafty. If
it can't be crafty.
And it's not crafty. And I almost, if he were a different race, we could use some different terms for it. I don't even tell you what they are.
Heady, crafty.
Heady. That would be. I'm even thinking of a different minority race where it's like, oh, he's well, whatever. We're stereotyping what bad announcers use as stereotypes. We are not stereotyping. Just want to be clear. So next time you hear the spicy or the fiery Jose Alvarado, just know they're not using all of their adjectives. They're not thinking creatively with their adjectives. They're going with stereotypes.
Coded language is very much alive, including in basketball announcing.
All right, Goodson, we're coming back to you. First of all, any Masters updates? And second of all, are you actually going to watch the NC State spring football game?
There's no real updates. Still waiting for Sung J.M. just to implode. Tiger tees off later, so we're kind of in a holding pattern. Have some
HV3 out there. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right.
I've got other guys that I'm
the people you bet on. Yes. You've got money on people. Okay. Yes. You didn't put money on HV3. You didn't get HV3.
No.
I'm telling your wife. That's disrespect to the Pirates.
Am I gonna watch the spring game? Probably not.
Are you starting to worry about the high achieving M in the Masters? The mathematical mind that he is of I don't know. I'm trying to think. You can't do it. There's not one for Asians.
Yes.
There's not one for Asians. I'm trying to think about what announcers would say about an Asian superstar.
No, you're right. It'd be high minded, but no, whatever. All right, let's keep it moving.
Spring game.
What are you watching the spring game?
No.
What? All this talk about Devin. So you're just a total fraud? You're just
I don't think Devin's going to play a lot. Number one, when you're a program where State is now, where you have national championship aspirations, we've been really focusing on getting Ben Finley, the backup, a lot of reps this spring because injuries can happen to any team, and you want to make sure you have a guy there to back him up so there's not a huge drop-off. So there's probably going to be a lot of Ben Finley tomorrow, and then a bunch of other guys aren't even playing because they haven't even practiced all spring. So
that It's kind of a downer. I thought you were going to give me like hooping and hollering, and the band will be there because it's the start of the college football. The march to the college football playoff starts tomorrow at Carter Finley.
I did see where
is the defense ahead of the offense at this point in time?
Actually, no. I heard the defense was behind the offense, which
That's
Okay.
the case.
That does not bode well.
But that's also because a bunch of the guys that came back, like the Peyton Wilsons and guys, haven't been playing. So it's been, but again, got a lot of depth being built. Which is this? I'm sure a football coach would tell you, but is a team really better because somebody's getting a lot of reps in April for a sport that doesn't happen until September?
I think it, I mean I don't know.
I'm genuinely curious of just the. Now, could it help a freshman who's never played collegiate football before and being able to finally now play on the same field with people who might be bigger, faster, stronger, and seeing that in real time, and like help from a confidence standpoint? Probably. That's the guy that it probably helps the most. But everyone else, I'm just kind of like,
I don't think it helps as much as the extra practices you get before a bowl game. Right,
Those are
like
huge.
you can really start preparing for the next year, even more months in advance. I think that's probably the most helpful.
And also the other thing is, didn't it used to be where when you had Georgia Tech in your schedule with Paul Johnson, like coaches would always say, back during spring practice, we actually had a 3-day install of option. And I'm like, really? Like on March the 24th. You had an option deep, practice, and that's what carried you to winning on October the 17th. Like, stop.
I also think it's funny.
That's why you did the bye week before you play Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Or teams would schedule like Georgia State or something, like an FCS team that runs the triple option too or whatever. I always love that when it's like, yeah, we've really got to prepare for Georgia Tech, and it's like, dude, they run like 3 plays, like option middle, option left, option right. They don't throw the football. Like I feel if anything, like just
It's a good point, Twain. Like when you're playing Georgia Tech, you've had like 5 months of bye weeks to prep for them because you were doing it in spring practice.
But so I pulled up the Sports Channel 8 tweet. This is from April 2021. This is what we tweeted out. During our summer vacation, we took time to visit every CFB spring game. We're happy to report that there's depth at every position. Guys are pushing each other but being supportive. The young guys are better than anyone expected. And the returning players all made leaps. And I think that's what's true. Like it's important to remember that is universal for every college football team.
I did get excited. Bud Elliott, who does a bunch of stuff for 24/7 and is kind of like their Vegas guy. He kind of tweeted. He basically tweeted yesterday. This is what his opinion is of what the Vegas win totals would be like for all of the ACC schools, and it was Clemson was 10, but behind them State, Miami, and Pitt were all 9. And I'm like, 9 for a win total is a lot.
Yep.
But it's also just for people will say like, oh, it's State. They just win 8. Take under, but win totals are going to be, who are you going to be favored against? And literally State's probably going to be before the season, because these things will change as the season goes. They will probably only be underdogs in 1 game, and that's at Clemson. And so, but
when do they officially become preseason top 10? When does that drop? Until August?
Probably.
About the same time the Canes are finishing up the Stanley Cup. The preseason top 10 will drop. I don't even know when Duke and UNC play their spring football game. The only team we care about for spring football is a team that's most likely to fall on its face. Where all eyes are on the team with the high expectations. And that this year is UNC State. For everybody else, we go back to not caring about your spring ball as it should be.
Spring football is huge at State because we've just come out of months and months of hearing about Duke and Carolina sports with basketball season.
That's true.
You don't get that at State. So this is like the first. That's why baseball is so big there as well. College baseball,
I just want to talk about it.
Football. It is NC State's season right now.
That's true. We will see what happens with NC State. The number one thing, regardless, BG was reading out the cliches. Coach got to come. First thing you got to say is, well, number one, we're happy that nobody got injured. That's always the goal of the spring game, and hopefully that will be the case. If you have a terrible injury, that sucks. That's the first thing you got to address. If you have a terrible injury in the spring game, that's bad coaching. That guy, whoever it was that got hurt, shouldn't have been playing if he gets hurt. So that's on you.
Perm, I will say I do know that the Duke spring game is this weekend. And I've actually got a new one to add to the list that BG just read from our We Learn About teams.
All right.
I've never heard this one before, but from the people who have been covering spring camp, you can tell a difference between last year under Cutcliffe and this year under Mike Elko based on the volume of practice, right? Not the amount of practices, but the volume, the sound that you hear.
Yes.
Pads, yelling, communication. There's a lot of volume coming out of Durham, which is the building blocks for getting to the point where you have position battles and depth at every position and things like that. You've got to get to the volume first.
Yeah. Remember, the guys are always ready to hit someone else too.
Tired of going, tired of just playing against dummies, ready to hit somebody else. And I can confirm now that I do my research, the UNC spring game also this Saturday. So that's going on. I guess all 3 spring games going on this weekend. But again, State's the only one we care about. State fans.
Is UNC football dead now? Like, again, last year that was the shit, right? Like UNC football preseason top 10. We're a football school now, and largely it had to do with the state of the basketball program, right? But now that Hubert has restored
100%
UNC basketball,
100%.
Are we just done with UNC?
Yeah,
football?
I think Permis said it. You obviously don't have to be great. You just have to be good enough that late night with Hubert weekend, everyone's coming back in town. Like, you can't be 3-7.
Yeah.
Be like 4-2. Schedule most teams will schedule a win for homecoming weekend. UNC schedules a win for late night with Hubert weekend.
That's right. and you can't have a game. You can't have a big matchup then because it might go too long and it might push you into to late night with you.
And you got to have big time home football games so that you can host all the transfer portal guys that you're bringing in to go around campus.
That's right. All right. Anything else before we hit the resumption of the greatest rivalry in sports? I know people just saw Duke UNC in the Final Four. They thought that was a big moment. That pales in comparison to kicking off your minor league season with just blood rivalry. 2 teams that hate each other, even though the players probably just arrived a week ago and have no idea who's on the other team. I saw the Mudcats roster, and I only recognize like 2 dudes, and that's a good thing because if you have the same guys back on single A, it means you're probably not very good. Actually, well, whatever. The Wood Ducks, they like to keep their AAA guys down at single A just to beat the Mudcats. We've seen them do it before, but yes, it is the Carolina Mudcats versus the Down East Wood Ducks tonight in 5 County Stadium. For last year, the minor league schedule kind of shifted and went all uniform. Now, I think this is the case at all levels. You play 6-game series starting on Tuesday and ending on Sunday throughout minor league baseball. But this special series is just the weekend, 3-game things to kick things off. Goodson, are you excited? Are you going? Do you have a box? What are you doing?
I'm not going. Many people are saying with the recent success the Wood Ducks have had that the rivalry actually is over, like Duke and UNC basketball. So
it's a little bit of like a UNC-NC State rivalry. It's the Wood Ducks will undoubtedly win all 3 here, and then at some point in the middle of the season, the Mudcats will get frisky and like when they're down 0-8 in the season series, they'll storm and win like 5 in a row, only to like fall apart in the final series where they have a chance to tie. So, yeah.
How's morale over in 5 County Stadium? Is this the year? They haven't won anything since 2008. And it's really hard not to win something in minor league baseball for like 15 years in a row. It actually is. At some point, the parent club has to throw you a bone. Yeah. And like, hey guys, keep all your guys through the first half of the year, win the first half title or whatever. But
here's the thing that's got me most concerned, right? Joe Aralt is the winningest coach in Mudcats history, and he deserved to go out on his own terms. But I'm a little bit concerned about the transition to the new coach. I thought Aralt would have been better served announcing that he was going to coach one more year of the Mudcats and sticking around to make sure that the next guy could do it well and that he could get his farewell tour. But instead, it's a straight up transition. Nobody knows what it's going to look like. We'll see. But coming out of 5 County Stadium, I'm very curious how they're going to sing the national anthem, and that is because I borrowed the Mudcats mic stand for a friend's outdoor wedding, and I have not returned them, and nobody has asked me for them yet. So I'm pretty sure this afternoon they're going to be like, we got the national anthem tonight. Go grab the mic stands out of the closet. And somebody's going to be like, wait a minute, where are the mic stands? So I'm going to show up as the hero and be like, woo!
What is the Hayes Permar pregame festivities look like tonight? Is it 9 at ZCC? Is it Keno at the Rodinos in Nightdale with the Masters on? Like, which I know, or is it the Southland Steakhouse and get a nice ribeye prior to the game?
Or as Brian Geisinger knows well, is it just me and a couple summer shandies rolling down the pickup truck? That's 64.
Shandy season start today.
It is officially shandy season today when there's outdoor baseball games. I need to get a better agent. There's a reason that like athletes don't like to do their own contract negotiations, because I've been getting these emails from the Mudcats. They're like, all right, 5:30 pregame meeting, guys. Everybody's there. And I'm like, that doesn't mean me, right? Like that doesn't not me. And so then it went unspoken, but like I'm on the email, like everyone's there at 5:30, right? And I'm like, yeah, but not me, right? They're not talking about me, right? And then finally, like yesterday, I got to like, just to me, like, hey man, will you be able to make the 5:30 meeting? And I was like, you mean the first game or for like all the games? It's like, well, we'd love to have you in. And I'm like, I need to
be there. So you'll play the game tonight. You'll be there at 5:30.
I will be there at 5:30. I think it's important to meet everybody and to get on the same page. We're also we've got some new people in new roles up there too. I will say
we're gonna fast forward to tonight where the Mudcats are hitting up Permar on Twitter saying, hey, are you gonna be here at 5?
No, Permar, I'll be tweeting my golf shots at like 5:10, like, yo, I just hit the green and 2 on number 17 on at Zebulon Country Club. Just cleared the water and stuck it. That hole's like my nemesis. I always hit good drives, second shots, no way, just awful. And I'm gonna be proud about them. Like, Permar, are you on your way out here?
That is a tough hole. Just remember, everything goes to Race Creek on 17 at Zebulon, and you're good to go.
One of the reasons I still do the Mudcats, obviously I get paid to do it, but like much like a lot of other jobs in sport, much like Moose doing weather for Duke Athletics, if you don't like being there, the money is probably not going to be enough for you, right? So I get paid, it's great, I do it, But part of it is not just like enjoying a baseball game or enjoying when I see Goodson or other folks stop by and come out and see the Mudcats. The crew that's out there in the production booth, it's like a combo of like, who are the two old dudes at the Muppet Show, Staldorf and whatever.
Yeah, I know who you're talking. I know you're talking about.
A combo of them, and then like the fans at the Cleveland Indians game that are it's like kind of a combo of all those things of like, we're kind of making fun of it and over it. We're kind of laughing at ourselves for making mistakes. We're kind of just, in a little running commentary of everything going on. So we'll see. And we always like to make fun of when there's always one team that has like an up and coming radio guy. He's like 22 and he might be very talented, he or she. But they, in their mind, they are going to be like the voice of the Dodgers at 25, And so like, they're like, they approach their job with like the seriousness. They don't realize they're running into like people that have been working minor league baseball for 20 years. And they're like,
yeah. Also, it's like, unless you went to Syracuse and have a famous dad, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, that's what it's people like. They're coming in, they're grinding, they're like super peppy, they're excited, they're like rolling their R's to practice. They're reviewing the words to the national anthem in case the singer doesn't show, and they're called to do backup. Like they are the most prepared. They've got the stat sheet that like that they call for baseball game. I mean, it's not for baseball games, for any game.
The box scores?
No, not the box score. TV broadcasters love to show you their prep sheet.
Oh, yeah.
Like written in calligraphy and has like all the notes. Like these guys come in and they're like, oh, I didn't know your center fielder played 2 years in the Dominican with this guy that's now on the Astros. And like, yeah, we didn't know it either. It's not going to come up. Nobody cares. And you're running on 1160 The Dog AM in Lynchburg. Like I guarantee you, nobody is listening, man. But I respect your grind, and I hope you have a great season, my friend.
What? I'm like out of the pop music. I'm out of the pop music world now. But what is the song that will be played over the.
You're thinking about this all wrong. We're in a Josh Goodson mode of we don't have any pop music post 2010 playing.
I mean, are you sticking to the hits? Are we still doing Old Town Road and Desposito, like basically as the get the crowd up and going, or is there something else?
I'll try and remember. Every now and then we'll stumble into something new for the season. There were a couple decent, hits. I don't know what the TikTok or Fortnite dance that's going to be all the rage this year is, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, by the way, Patrick Reed just lifted his putter.
No,
and the putt didn't go in, and it was hilarious to watch. He was like walking it in. He's like it was a putt. He walked it in, and it didn't even like sniff. It was close, but it didn't lip out. It wasn't even dead. It went right at the hole.
I thought when you said he's picking up his putter, I thought you were going to say he's cheating in some sort. Like I love a good past Patrick Reed cheating.
A good cheating story.
All right. Anything else from you? Oh, wait. I had 2 rightly rateds. Let me hit them real quick. I think they were decent ones too. Hold on. Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. They're a great one. First up for rightly rated. Oh, we got music for rightly rated, don't we? Oh, wow. Let's see. All right, first up for rightly rated, it is Southwest. Is Southwest Airlines overrated, underrated, or rightly rated? Actually, let's go ahead and answer it, and then I'll show you why we're talking about it. Southwest Airlines, Brian Geisinger, overrated, underrated, or rightly rated?
I was actually about to Google and see how they treat their employees, so I don't know. So I'll just say rightly rated. But
on brand.
I get to amend that depending on how they treat their employees.
Fair. Josh Goodson, I know you don't ride Southwest.
I used to in a previous life, but in that life, I actually thought they were pretty underrated, mainly because they actually had a pretty sizable presence at like RDU specifically, and you could get pretty cheap and pretty normal flights to like good locations. Like I think I've flown to Vegas there before. I've done the Nashville flight there before, and usually pretty solid experience.
All right, Ben Swain, overrated, underrated, or rightly rated?
As a travel hockey parent, they are supremely underrated because you can't not travel with bags for hockey, right? Like you've got your sticks, you got your equipment, and so the no baggage fee is incredible. And I'll also share my favorite moment ever, like checking in at a gate, right? You know how Southwest has like the humor, right? Like they'll come on and they'll say something funny on the lady working the counter at the gate for check-in is calling the zones up, right? So like A goes first, B starts off with A as in apple bottom jeans, and then after they B as in boots with the fur, and then when C got up there, she finished like the rest of the chorus, like singing it, and it was incredible. Like the whole like terminal was cracking up. So I'm gonna go supremely underrated for Southwest, and I don't even care how they treat their employees.
The humor makes a difference, man. Everybody's tense, in the airline, even if things are flowing smoothly. You're just waiting for it. So humor goes a long way. All right. Southwest being overrated, underrated, or rightly rated comes up because
they treated their employees bad. Please don't do that to VG.
No, because a Southwest passenger was arrested and banned after pleasuring himself midair. Yes, a man on a Southwest flight is facing charges and a lifetime ban after allegedly masturbating next to a female passenger for an hour during a flight from Seattle to Phoenix. How did this go on for an hour? Like, was she – I can understand maybe for 2 minutes you're like, maybe he's scratching. But after a few minutes, I feel like you're not being a bad seat neighbor to turn this guy in. This should not have gone on for an hour.
Southwest, you can get up and move. Like, that sounds like her fault, right? There are no assigned seats.
Yeah, no.
You can get up and move anywhere else on the plane. This sounds like a her problem to me.
All right, so Southwest – just make sure you check in with your neighbors. And
I'm also glad your "how did this go on for an hour" comment was about her not moving and versus like what he was doing.
Well, no, there was a little bit of
that go on for an hour. Like,
are you bad? Are you not good?
Yeah.
I will say there is someone. Well, whatever. I've heard some strange plane stories about planes being grounded and people doing bad behavior to get them grounded. It sounds like they didn't land the plane for this guy, but he might not be riding Southwest anymore. All right, next up on Rightly Rated, 8 Mile, the movie 8 Mile. It comes up because, I kind of gave it away, but let's watch this. We ready? Hold on. Is the movie 8 Mile overrated, underrated, or rightly rated? Have y'all seen this?
No. What is this from? What is this?
I give it's some TV quiz show, but just watch this. It's so good.
Martin Scorsese has 9 Oscar nominations for directing, but his only win was for what movie?
Horrible with films. I'm going to have to guess and say 8 Mile.
The correct answer is The Departed. He won the Oscar in 2006.
Good to know.
Alex?
My man, he said, I'm going to have to guess. You assumed he was going with like, I'm going to have to guess and go with like Cape Fear or like whatever Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
AC movie. And he went 8 Mile. I don't know films. I'm going to have to go 8 Mile. Is 8 Mile overrated, underrated, or rightly rated? Ben Swain.
Underrated. You and I make 8 Mile jokes frequently, so I'm going to go underrated. Also, I would like to see a reboot that Martin Scorsese actually directs of 8 Mile. I would definitely watch.
Be a lot more people getting killed. Like Cheddar Bob would not shoot himself in his balls. Like Cheddar Bob would like
you get the blood spreading across the floor after Cheddar Bob shoots himself in the leg. Yes,
but he's got to die from it though. He can't. Yeah. Josh Goodson, 8 Mile, overrated, underrated, or rightly rated. This would actually be a movie I would bet Josh Goodson has seen.
Never seen it. It's got the Mom Spaghetti song though, right?
Yes, yes.
That song's pretty cool. So underrated.
BG.
Rightly rated.
All right. Here's the only thing I'll say about it.
It also has Ty from Clueless. R.I.P. Ty.
Yeah. Growing up in like our generation, you know, everybody talks about what's the one movie that when it comes on TV you can't turn off. Like it's like Shawshank Redemption or Die Hard. I think the modern equivalent of that is like, what's the one thing that whenever it gets mentioned, you have to go watch the YouTube clip? And for me, it's like 8 Mile. It's so easy to watch the compilation of the final rap battles. And just like, you know, I guess there's 5 of them, 3 Eminem and 2 other dudes. And so like anytime somebody like, when we go back and forth with like a joke on it, I'm like, I got 10 minutes. Let me go watch the final rap battle. It is the modern equivalent of when this movie is on TV, you got to watch it. All right, we've gone a little long. We've cut into Josh Goodson's Masters viewing. We appreciate him enduring with us for the fans. And we appreciate everybody listening. This will drop as a podcast in about an hour. Check it out on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. For Brian Geisinger, Ben Swain, Josh Goodson, I am Hayes, and the Weather Moose, who's not here, even though the weather's pretty good. Sports Channel 8, we out. I got too many sounds in there now. No. All right, let's just end.
Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it all on the field. Sports, when you like your team's chances. Sports, to survive and advance in sports. For the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8. Yeah. Sports Channel 8. Hey! Hey! Hey!